Welcome to Cosmic Comics, Games and Collectibles, your zen of geekism. We carry comics old and new, magazines, toys, games like Pokemon, Magic, D&D. Want Godzilla, Ultraman, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops? You'll find it all here. Shop our Cosmic Sound Room and pick up a record or two. Enjoy our Comic Coffee Lounge with a cup of Sasquatch coffee or a delicious menu item while geeking out over a super cool movie on our big screen. Come by and say hello to Maui. Cosmic Comic, Games and Collectibles. Superman loves us, and so will you.
And good evening, everybody. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at CriticalBlast.com. And yes, it is time to get back into that world of crowdfunded comics. We are on a trend this week. We have not visited Indiegogo in a while, and we're going to continue to snub them as we keep our feet planted firmly over here in Kickstarter tonight. And with us tonight, we have Mr. Mark Darden, the guy behind Holy Crap, the Guano guy. Mark, how are you?
I am doing good. Doing very good. Also, worked with on this part too, but
so this is Guano guy number 4. My God, was it Guano guy number 1 that we were on last time we were talking?
I can't say that I recall. I would have to go back and look real quick, but if it was last year, we probably talked about issue number 2.
Okay, it just seems like 4 is a good run so far.
Yeah, especially when I actually have 8 comics, but because of the wacky numbering I was doing with 0 and 1/2 and 1.5 and 2.5, issue number 4, I'm 8
So it's even, what's the word I'm looking for? There are more of them than this volume number would let on.
Yeah, that's why it says number 4 plus all 7 other Guano Guy comics, because there was no better way to say, and all 7 back issues. That won't leave you wondering.
And what you need to just go back next time and do Guano Guy number 1 and call it the Marvel issue, or Marvel. Yeah, something that would just make fun of the whole rebooting of numbers.
Oh, just call it Guano. Yeah.
Or even like Guano Guy number 1, number 5.
Right.
No, Guano Guy number 5, number 1. Yeah, that would be it.
Number 1.
It's the first issue of Guano Guy number 5.
An ongoing series of number 1s.
Oh man! So, well, look at this: $15.91 of a $1,500 goal. Did you pass that like last night, 2 nights ago?
A couple nights ago. Yeah, it was a couple nights ago, and so now onto the more fun stuff, because there's a bonus print and another $400. And then there's another bonus print after that. And if we get to that, I'll kick together a trading card that'll be fun. And then I've got another even bigger, better bonus print. I've gotten some art by some different artists that I really like. So got a lot of bonus prints. Hopefully we can blast through and get to the bigger freebies.
Yeah. Now, you showed the T-shirt, and Heroenberg in the chat is our ever-present omniscient wrench. He's got the link to the Image Grand Design work that you did. Not completely you, but I did see you talking about this on, what was it, the Sunday Funnies, I think. So tell us a little bit about what that was going on with.
Oh, yeah. So last year, Ed Piskor did an outline pitch of Image Grand Design. If Image had actually started with the whole game plan in place, continuity, history, and it had all been linked from the get-go. And so he had this game plan and basically like, well, this can't actually be done, but why don't you fans get on it? And a few of them did. So a few of them did get on it. They put together a joke ad, which actually inspired people. And then this guy, Jerome, did a few pages, and another guy, Greg, transcribed the outline, and guys got together and they met and they were like, great, we're going to do design. So they followed that outline and crafted a story around it, a 160-page comic done by people that have are amateur all the way to actual pros.
And you got to use Image Comics characters.
Yeah. And then an offshoot of that was guys who wanted to go outside the outline and do more parody-ish stories. And that's where I came in as a contributor to the sister project, and ended up getting to contribute to a lot of the stories through scripting and editing, and ultimately ended up producing the book. So it ended up being a really good project. Like there's no better education than doing work.
So you were like one of those guys that shows up at the PTA meeting and they're like, okay, so the kids are going to put on a play this year. Mark, you're a carpenter. Can you put sets together?
It was a little like that. Yeah. It was a little like, wait a minute, you know how to produce projects? You've done that before?
Yes.
Let's tap you.
Yep.
But it ended up really good. I mean, there were to say there were so many amazing artists is a completely legit statement, because there were so many amazing people. 60 people worked on Image Grand Disaster. Another 20 or so worked on design. So it's an amazing amount of people, but great art, tons of great stories, and was just a wonderful project. Like my skills advanced, the contacts, the working relationships, and just the friendships. I mean, we just had a couple days ago, we did an online birthday for one of the guys. Got together and met online, and wildly, a couple of the guys got together and got a cameo from Rob Liefeld for him, which was like a present to all of us, because he mentioned the project, because he knows about it. He got a copy, so that was ultra exciting for us to, we just see him and he's mentioned, I'm going to talk about this, and we're like, ah.
So you guys are collectively now the Grand Design or the Grand Disaster.
Grand Design and Disaster, yeah.
So this was Pisker's idea. Has he ever mentioned this on his channel? That's the question coming from the chat here.
Yeah, actually, him and Jim Rugg, they did a review of Grand Design. I only had a minor role in that one. I had a lettering credit for one of the stories, but the guys who put that one together, again, amazing art. There's some hilarious bits. I mean, one of the stories in the back that's just so funny that they point out is where it's just going through all the different image guys, and they're just talking over the phone, doing like drawing sessions, but the commentary is hilarious. It's funny regardless, but also if you kind of know Image, it's really funny. But
also if you know some of the backroom deals and behind the scenes inside baseball stuff.
Yeah, very much the inside. Yeah, there's a baseball bat in it for sure.
Oh God. Okay. So it really got inside baseball with baseball.
Yeah.
And what characters did you contribute to the Grand Disaster? I mean, did Guano guy get to appear in this, or did you work with a?
No. So my what I wanted to do was Mars attacked Image, and so I subbed out the Martians with Viltrumites and had the Viltrumites attack Extreme and Wildstorm. So I had an in-story explanation for why they disappeared.
I have no idea who they are.
Oh, okay, yeah. The Viltrumites are the bad guys in Robert Kirkman's Invincible. They are
okay.
So Superman.
I've yet to watch that or read that. It's one of those things that keeps popping up on the radar. I'm like, if you're going to be a comic book guy, you have to read or watch this.
Yeah, I really liked Invincible. It gets more violent as time goes on, but in the earlier parts, there's just a fun adventure to it. And there's a lot of good creative ideas, and they hop worlds, and people do somewhat realistic stuff, but it's also sarcastic. It's funny. There was a thing where all these characters have these wacky names. Like there's a guy Shrinking Ray. So instead of the Atom, he's Shrinking Ray, which I'm like, it's right there. It's just low hanging fruit, but it's so sweet.
That's one of those names where you're like, how have we not had a character named this already?
How? Yeah, how did we all miss it?
And how does he shrink? He has a shrinking ray. I would guess. I don't know. But that would be a lot of fun. Now, how did this fund something once it was created? I mean, this was created for a reason.
Right. That's been the whole purpose behind it. After us getting together and doing something with our time while a lot of people were locked at home last year, what we did is we put both books out as PDFs, and it's a $5 donation to the Hero Initiative.
Oh, cool.
So, I mean, in grand total, that's $10 for almost $400 pages of great material.
Yeah.
Just absolutely fun all over the place. You'd be hard pressed to get more bang while helping a good cause.
Yeah, the Hero Initiative, definitely a good cause. I get heartsick when I hear some of the stories of these, legends of the comics industry, and you're like, hey, can we go to GoFundMe here because this guy who wrote all these books you loved isn't a millionaire, and now he's got heart disease and he's living on fixed income, and I'm like, why is he not living in a Todd McFarlane like castle? I mean, he did all these great issues of this book that I love. So yeah, that back in the day, our heroes were. I'm not going to say they were getting screwed, but they weren't being compensated monetarily as much as they were in fan worship. So,
right, yeah.
Now, you guys who are doing crowdfunding stuff, you're on your own. We're not supporting you in your old age. You make your money now and you save it. Which brings us.
Yeah, so 100% went to the Hero Initiative. We don't keep anything from it. So and they're available as PDFs. And if you want to go, then print on demand or something and get yourself a physical copy, by all means. It's out there. Enjoy. We're just bringing entertainment and trying to raise a little bit of money for the Hero Initiative. Yeah. And so far, a few thousand.
They gender swapped the character in the animated series. Okay.
Who? Oh, yeah.
Shrinking Ray is now Shrinking Ray. Which would be, I would laugh at it if they modeled her after Charlotte Ray from, Facts of Life.
But, okay. I thought you were going to go to the more recent one.
No. No.
we shrunk out of existence.
I go with that one now. Shrink down to the quantum realm and go back in time and make a better movie. But so we are at the 4th issue of Guano Guy, and is there a continuity to Guano Guy? Because I know he's kind of a parody character. He's like the Tick, and the Tick had a sort of continuity. I mean, once the moon was defaced, by God, it stayed defaced the entire time.
Right. Yeah, little bits like that are popping up because originally Guano Guy went through a slew of sidekicks, and then all those sidekicks have shown back up as a team and are having slowly having a growing role in the comic. There's another continuity bit that, due to Guano Guy's mirror, he interacts with his mirror a lot. That's pretty much his only friend. Okay. So that is working its way more and more into the story. But I will say, as far as continuity from issue to issue, it's far more like a sitcom where some things change, but for the most part, you can drop in at any time and it's the same people you've always known. There might be a detail or two that is different, but for the most part, you recognize them.
And Guano Guy is, of course, he's named after guano.
Yeah.
Which isn't the most, well, it could be fear-inspiring. Are those pouches full of something he's going to throw at us, like monkeys at the zoo? Or
once in a while, he has a device he pulls out of the pouches. Yeah, they're mostly for show. They look cool, but occasionally he's got a cool device in there. I mean, in issue 2, he brought in a stage of puppets to battle puppets with puppets.
I remember that. He's like, how do I fight? You have to fight fire with puppets.
Yeah, you fight fire with fire. Wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. Wouldn't that just make more fire? Well, fighting puppets with puppets, that couldn't make more puppets, could it? No, that's silly.
So have you touched on why he chose the name Guano Guy yet?
Oh no, not within the story. No. It's just that it started as a Batman parody, and certainly Guano being poo in general, but mostly known for as Bat Poo.
Okay.
It's
No
an
one
honor
asks
to
him
Bat,
about it.
but it hasn't continuity wise shown up in the story as to why he picked that name. That seems way too serious.
At this point, it never should.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, once you've gone 3 issues without an origin, don't have one. Wolverine was great for years until we got Logan, that thing. I was like, I liked the mystery. I liked him. He can never know who he is, and he'll always have berserker rage problems. Popman's net in the chat.
He doesn't even have a civilian name. Like, what does he do for a living? What's his name? What does he look like?
He's like the Tick. Tick never takes his costume off.
No. Guano guy's never without his mask on.
And I'm looking at the mask here. He has gone to the Liefeld surplus store, and I was sitting here thinking, half the time I've had the page, I'm like, what is that on the side of his head? And I'm like, that's a pouch.
Yeah. Just in case you need something right there.
He's got a pouch on the side of it. That's where you keep the walkie-talkie. That way you can hear it while it's in there. We can't all afford these high expensive, spy tech earbuds that slip in your ear. You got to have something to hold walkie-talkie up there.
And an artist, Alex Regal, did this art piece. I found him because I saw this other piece he had done that was the Venture Brothers, and I was like, oh, wow, how much is that? How much would it be to get an original of the Guano guy? Okay, let me do that.
and you, of course, explained to him all these other characters who are here.
All the
Guano boys.
Yeah, there's this. So obviously, there's this whole collection of sidekicks: the Guano boys and the Guano girl. And there's Old Man Guano Boy in the back, and also Guano Fan. He's the starstruck one fan that Guano guy has who thinks that he's perfect, but he hangs out with the Guano boys too, because who else can he talk to about the Guano guy? And then there's the Dice Gang there, affectionately known as the Rolling Bones, and their leader is Dice Cube, the guy in the wizard hat with the staff. And
Dice Cube.
He's a very chic collector. His crimes are about collecting collectibles.
So, he's going to hang around the comic store and the gaming store and what have you. Now it looks like they're going to rob Guano guy himself here if they're out on his balcony.
Yeah, they got to try and get that mirror, because that mirror is going to be his most valuable collectible once he's famous.
And we're looking at because the mirror is, first of all, it's bat shaped, which I want one now. I've got to have one of those. And second of all, it's not that he's just talking to himself in the mirror, but the mirror is interacting back.
Yep. It's helping him get ready for the All Night Ninja Rally. The mirror is quite active in this issue, and that is something that's going to continue. It's a great companion for him.
Does anyone else interact with the mirror ever, or do they just see their own reflection when they look in it? Yeah,
it's kind of like with Family Guy, where people can talk to Brian, but only Brian can talk to the baby. So Guano guy can talk to the mirror can talk to the narrator, but the narrator and Guano guy don't hear each other.
Yeah, that would be weird. So there's some fourth wall breaking stuff going on here.
Oh yeah, good bit. And David Lapham did the cover, so that's super sweet. He did the drawing, and Keenan, a colorist that I've worked with before, did the coloring for the cover, and so quite a fan of David's art, and it was awesome to be able to get a piece by him, which helped really make 2020 a great year.
Yeah,
I feel like I had a wonderful 2020 despite all other aspects. And the cover, you can get it if you just want just the art, or if you want all that extra silly story stuff. It's kind of a 70s style cover, when they used to do the side the side pictures with sort of like little bits, and the cover's practically a story on its own.
every summer DC's Justice League was like that. It was like, here's the Justice League, the Justice Society. If it had the All-Star Squadron and the Legion of Superheroes making a border, I'm like, this one's going to be action-packed. And they'd go 3 issues long, and I'd be like, yeah. And for my money, the best covers in the world have word balloons on them.
I fell in love with it when I started looking back at older comics, getting stuff from the 60s. And it's just like there's so much fun going on with those covers, and there's a real pull in. So they really kind of you could get a lot about what's going on just by seeing the cover.
Yeah.
So but I did it in both styles, because some people they're just going to want to put the piece on the wall, or get both. I'm going to offer a discount. It's not up there yet, but it's going to happen.
So you've hit the stretch goals, the $2,000. Wait a second.
I haven't hit that yet, but that's what we're heading towards. We're only 4 away, and then that print will be a free print. It'll be a backing board size, so it'll be like getting a super cool backing board.
And this is some newscaster who's picked up Mjolnir.
Yeah, that's Rita Ratika. She's one of the other main characters who has been helping Guano Guy try to get famous by finding out where crimes are happening and then sending him to the scene, and she could report on it.
And that makes her worthy.
Yeah. Yeah, well, actually, she's had the hammer hanging out at her apartment for several issues. But this is the issue where we finally get to see Rita get into the action, and also get to see what happened with Thor, because she took his hammer long ago. So it's time to finally get some resolution about that.
There's a lot going on in this print here. I mean, it just scrolls and scrolls.
Yeah.
And then after that.
Great. Yep. And then after that, if we can blow through that one, got another one coming up. So Andre did that one. And then here, Ryan English did this print. And this is Mr. Marvelous Man going to a theme park, not paying attention to the giant robots in the background. It's a variation on a cover from the last issue. There was a much more serious version of it, but this is the more kid version.
Yeah. Now, Marvelous Man, he's the Superman of your universe here, but he's not cognizant of everything going on around him.
Yeah, he's extremely childlike to the point of being oblivious to the obvious things. But sometimes it plays to his favor. I mean, he saved the city once by just asking a robot if it had permission to play with the city. And the robot was like, oh, no, I didn't ask. Oh, yeah, you should. But then other times it hasn't worked, because he tried to stop some TV robots the same way, and he just got sucked into what they were doing.
It can't do the same trick twice.
Yeah, it did. The second set of robots were not going for it. There was a fun preview up there. So that other video is a preview of some of the pages, so people can click on that. Issue number 1, the PDF, is actually a free download. So there's a link in the campaign there. You can go ahead and read it. I think there's no better way to get you to know whether you want this or not. Like, you download the PDF, you read issue 1. If you like it, please come back and help support. And if you don't dig it, hey, thanks for taking the time. No hard feelings.
Absolutely. Read issue number 1, and then, all it is $50, and you can get everything. Once you've whet your appetite, get it all.
I even throw in a couple of bonus prints now.
Oh, that's an easy spend. Now you got some add-ons, and this is one of the things that is kind of new to Kickstarter, I think.
Yeah, they've had it for a while, but it was where people had to just increase their pledge, whatever amount was said, and then just say, hey, I'm adding it for this reason.
That sucks. You can't do that.
So now they have the official where, like, hey, add this on for this amount, and you click it. So this is a set of the previous bonus items. So, like, if you weren't here for the first, second, and third campaign, these are previous bonus items. The Guano Guy print from the last one, and print from number 2, and there was a postcard and also a bookmark of Guano Guy's dance routine. So, little fun bit of stuff, and there's a pretty limited number of them.
I think the add-on capability is going to change the way people do campaigns. I really do. I think instead of having to come up with, like, I need a tier for everything so that I can make sure that everything's covered, all the permutations. It's going to be, here's the book. And then it's going to make my job a lot easier. We can be done in 10 minutes. Now I'm looking at this sketch here. Now this is one of the older add-ons that you had available.
It was no, these were all previous bonus items.
Yep, that's what I meant. Previous bonus items.
Yeah. So and then I have I've got them all together as a set, so you can catch up on that too if you missed out on the former campaigns.
I'm loving the Mayor McCheese Hamburglar mashup character we're seeing in the middle with a knife through his head.
Oh, right, because our burger restaurant in Auto City is Killer Burger.
Oh, okay.
That's why the mascot is wearing a jumpsuit, but has a knife through his burger buns.
Killer Burger.
Killer Burger. Yeah, they're killer burgers.
That's better than Whataburger.
Yeah, they're filled with grease and sugar and fat and all the things you love that'll kill you.
Yes, obviously I'm reminded of the old McDonald's character, not the one with the farm, the one with the restaurant.
Yeah, Mayor McCheese.
Yeah. Do you know why they got rid of them?
No, why did they get?
Because they didn't last they lasted long enough for the lawsuit. The guy who designed Mayor McCheese and Big Mac, the costumes, was formerly employed by Sid and Marty Krofft, and he did the costume design for HR Puffin stuff.
Okay.
And apparently he just used the same design and tweaked it to look like a hamburger instead of a big salamander head. And the Crofts sued because he was sort of like under an NDA kind of thing.
Yeah.
And apparently McDonald's lost to the Crofts.
Huh.
Which I wouldn't expect today to happen. I think McDonald's would be like, yeah, how much do you want? But back then it was, we lost two of the most iconic characters. So now, when you see these guys immortalized on a playground somewhere, that's a really old McDonald's.
Gotcha. Yeah. Boy, those were some of the fun characters from my childhood.
I know. We don't have any of them now. I never even see the clown anymore, to tell you the truth.
I've seen, Ronald comes up here and there, but it's a different voice actor. So there's a different feel, and it's probably just because I'm older, but it feels creepy now. But it could totally be that it's just because I'm older and that voice would be fine to kids. But to me, I don't feel the same comfort.
Well, the old McDonald cartoons, the old McDonald commercials were sort of like a mini adventure for kids. When the commercial came out, it's like, oh, Captain Crook's got the fillet of fish. Oh, the Hamburglar's getting away. What's Ronald going to do? Oh, Grimace caught him. Grimace was a bad guy.
Short Sesame Street episode.
Yeah. It was like watching, a Captain Crunch commercial. It's like Jean Lafitte's got the cereal. Catch him. Which has absolutely nothing to do with Guano Guy, but we've gone off on a fast food adventure tangent. I will table all of that, and I will pass it on to Keith Gleason for the next time we have the Mighty Mascots on. So you've added two prints here. Now, tell us about these two prints here, because these do not. Well, one of them looks like it's an early Guano Guy, but
so the first one on the left, that's out of issue number 1 when Mr. Marvelous Man is dealing with the robot, and the other one is from a short story back in the webcomics when a kid drinks a soda that has all kinds of promises of what soda can do for you by drinking it. And so in this one, he is beating bullies with he's deflecting audacious verbal abuse with witty comebacks.
Yeah, I'm reading the word balloons now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said it. So these are going for the top 2 reward tiers, which
I still had postcard. I still had these prints left. I'm like, hey, just toss them in for the people that need the catch up.
Yeah. So there's a lot of tiers. I should look at the tiers.
Oh yeah, it's pretty quick. I mean, there's the $5, the new comic is a digital. The 10 is the new comic is an actual physical copy. It's a 40-page comic, mind you. So these are
a good deal.
Yeah, and a lot of the issues are 40 pagers. So That's why the material stacks up. But I only do 2 a year, so 40 pages.
Yes, and you're immortalized in the comic, which of course I'm taking to mean that your name is in the back of it for the thank you for producing.
Yeah, the inside front page.
Oh, even better. Get to it right away.
Yeah, right there on the inside front page.
Yeah,
and then I did a catch up in case people were, because a lot of people were out of work last year, and I put out issue 3 in. I put out issue 3 last year. Actually, issue 2 and 3. Maybe I should have included all. But issue 2 did fine. It was issue 3 where not everyone was able to come back. So I did a 3-4 catch up for people who missed issue 3.
Yeah, if you just missed the last one, and if you missed all of them, then here's the PDF set to truly get you caught up.
Yep, and
$25.
Reach anybody in the world. At some point, I hope to have enough comics to be shipping to everybody in the world. But right now, the shipping fees are still kind of high. So the top tier is available to be shipped to the world. But that's the only one that really makes any fiscal sense for anybody.
Sure. $25 for 250 pages. You're talking about 10 cents a digital page here, folks. Yeah, and I know that there are plenty of you in the chat who need the PDF versions above physical versions. So this is a no-brainer. You've spent $10 on smaller books. Get a set for $25.
And in case I guess no one does so far. So I guess that tells me what I need to know. If you had wanted the new book, but catch up the reading by the PDFs.
Exactly.
But I've learned here that you either want the physicals or you want the digitals. So
sometimes both. Why not both?
I'll know that for the future. And then the $50, that's all the catch up plus the stickers. And as I said, you do get these 2 bonus prints. I just couldn't add it because people had already gotten that level.
Oh, yeah.
But it's included.
You would think that they would let you add to it. As long as you didn't take away from.
Yeah. That would make total sense that hey, I'm throwing some more stuff in there. But yeah, maybe I'll be at another option in the future.
But what I wish they would do is do something where every time I mouse over to the thing I'm talking about, they quit greening it out. I'm like, I want to read this thing that I'm expanding.
And point read?
Yeah, I'm definitely I mouse over my words. My lips sometimes move when I'm reading to myself. It's that kind of a.
Not when you're trying to read these rewards you want.
Oh, I know. For $65, what do we get? I don't know. They won't show us.
Oh, it adds in the. So it's everything that the last tier had, but it's all the PDFs.
Okay, so this is everything plus the digital everything.
Yeah. Yep. And then all these are not really all gone. It was just that there was a misnaming where I was thinking I would do it as 2 issues, but I'm just doing it as one 40-pager.
I was going to say, how did you run out of PDFs?
Yeah.
Sorry, the computer's out of 1s and 0s right now. They were NFTs.
Yeah. Have limited bandwidth. I can only allow so many downloads.
So Guano Guide number 4 is a 40-page full-color comic, which I think we've covered here. This is some of the art by Alexander Enland.
Unland. Yeah.
Unland. Okay, because I'm like, that name, it kind of reminds me of Ben Edlund. I'm like, wait a second. I was going to say, what's he doing anyway? And why haven't you got together with him to do a Tick Guano Guy matchup? That would, yeah.
He's probably enjoying his early life success.
He's had two live-action television shows, an animated show, and some comic books and some toys, which means, he's probably living in a suburb somewhere and on a fixed income, because that's how it goes.
Yeah, Alexander did 20 pages here, but we had 3 colorists. So this was one of the colorists. Each of the scenes that Alexander did is colored by a different colorist, so you get a different feel.
You do. This one's very painterly.
Yeah. It's very cool. The Thor Scene is by Keenan. So the guy who did the coloring for the front cover did the Thor Scene. And then the regular colorist, Maya Opchik, who's been coloring for several Guano Guy issues now, did the Rita Ratika scene. And then the short stories, the OG Guano boy who got abandoned in a sewer, used as bait for Guano Guy to be able to escape. Well, he survived and he's back for revenge. And then below that, we've got a despot from a horrible planet who's having a lot of fun with an anti-life gun, having too much fun.
This thing kills everything.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. It literally does.
Which is kind of what a gun's supposed to do. But
once you pop, you can't stop.
And then, of course, this is an obvious Kirby homage.
Yes, it's very obvious. And I'm just doing what Guano Guy does, and that's have fun with the comic genre.
Yeah, it's either Darkos or Thane's side. We're not,
Yeah.
Creators Outlet. What's blasting? We are here with Mark Darden. We are blasting Guano Guy. We're not exactly blasting it. We're kind of blasting its praises because this is a fun book that you should get if you like things like The Tick or you like Family Guy.
What's blasting? Not in the face.
Yeah, that's Arthur's line.
Yeah.
I know my tick.
Yeah.
from God, that was ancient of days. A departed hero talks to a psychotherapist about life problems. Now, by departed, you mean retired, not like dearly departed.
Yeah. Yeah, he's very retired. He's as retired as you can get.
This has Mad Magazine written all over it. This is like Christian Misi was channeling Don Martin for this.
Yeah, Christian Misi is a caricaturist. So he pays his rent by going to fairs and events and doing quick character sketches of people, and is also a comic artist and has a whole slew of his own comics. So it's super awesome to get to have him for a couple pages. And we have a really ridiculous story about Limbo. Is a double entendre Limbo.
Okay. And is that the retired superhero or?
The as retired as you can get superhero, yes.
Okay. And then we have Mr. Marvelous Man. Mr. Marvelous Man, who needs a comb in the worst way, faces off against the prankster in a dangerous game of tic-tac train track. Okay. James Smith is doing this one. I have no idea how to play tic-tac train track.
Well,
I can barely even say it.
Add a train to the stakes of the game.
Well, is Mr. Marvelous is stronger than a locomotive, I would assume.
Oh, yeah, he'll be fine.
Everyone on the train, however.
They might be in trouble.
So,
and then
you got a lot of videos in here. We should play something.
Yeah, so I had a lot of readings from previous issues. So I figured I'd go ahead and link in those readings so people can get more of a look at what the comic's like through the fun medium of me reading it in character voice with visuals. I got into my video making, so there were sound effects and sometimes music and all kinds of stuff.
Okay, we got to take a look at this. You're going to do voices and sound effects. We play in this.
Hey, Mark Darden back with a super quick reading from The Guano Guy. In this scene, Mr. Marvelous Man, a superhero, is doing Mr. Marvelous Man's super stock report. Let's check in.
And now for the Mr. Marvelous Man's super stock report.
Wow, these stocks are up in a way of making a lot of money. That's an obvious reference to another superhero in The Guano Guy. Check it out on Kickstarter. Thanks.
Well, there's some serious lag on it through. I'm willing to bet if you click on it from the site, but not watching it through someone else, you probably lines up a lot better.
Yeah.
Mark Darden.
Stop.
Back with a super quick
Yeah. There is I don't know what it is. I've got my Wi-Fi says I'm like at 17 megabits per second. So I've got it's fast, but it's still Wi-Fi. So I did this horrible thing. One of the other comic creators has a Monday night jam session. It's just like music and karaoke and everything else. So I'm like, okay, well, sure, what the hell, why not? I'll give it a shot. And I found a karaoke track and I brought it over here and I shared it to him and I hit play on it and he played it back. And because I don't know if it's my processor is very, very slow, but it sounded fine here, man. You know, it's like I was freaking John Lennon, you know, in my headphones.
You were doing good, yeah.
And I was Pee Wee Herman channeling Spike Jones on the playback because it was like 5 seconds ahead of the music. And not only was it like lagging, but it was like stretching it and slowing it down and stretching it again. I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. So yeah, I've got to either get a 50-foot Ethernet cable to reach the router and just be plugged in hardwired all the time, or get a new computer with a faster processor. StreamYard hasn't told me what the issue is yet, but they lean towards just being plugged directly in. One of these days I'll figure out this whole, you know, I've only been at it for 2 years now, Mark. I'm still learning how this thing works. I mean, my God, we just got monetized a week and a half ago. So
nice. Nice. That doesn't happen overnight.
No, it doesn't. In fact, even once you've accumulated the 4,000 watch hours and the over 1,000 subscribers, it still takes a couple of days for them to turn it on. And then you find out that everything you had wasn't worth monetizing anyway, and they turn it all off. I only said the F word twice in that one video, and I marked it not for kids.
So I think there's a good 4 or 5 videos people can watch, which are pretty fun. And some of them, that last one, there was a little bit of the panels, but there were some more significant ones with more sound effects and stuff as I got more and more into the video making.
Yeah, and I thought the one I clicked on, I looked at it like this. I should have looked at it like this.
Right. That was video one of Mr. Marksman's stock report. Because you were waiting for like, when does this mirror come in?
Exactly. I was like, wait, this is because I'm like picture. I'm a picture caption guy.
That makes sense.
This is a header picture.
I easily would have misread that too, but
I would have figured it out once I got to the bottom of it, and I'm like, oh wait, there's no caption. Oh, no, they're all this way. This is what we want to talk about. Add on this awesome poster, because this is an awesome poster. How big is this sucker? Because it looks like it's huge.
Yeah, so 11 by 17.
That's big enough.
A good size poster.
You're gonna fold that to fit it into a Gemini mailer?
So they're gonna do it one of 2 ways. There's a $10 one, and I'm gonna roll that. It'll be in a thinner glossy, and I'll roll it and put it in the professional tube. Or there's a $15 matte version, and I'm gonna sandwich and ship it. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't fold it. I personally can't do that. It would hurt me to fold the item.
I can't stand folded posters either. You know, when they came out of the comic books, I'm like, can you just like mail me one flat? You know, the centerfold ones.
Yeah, and I suppose with the thinner materials, it's not so bad, but I don't know. It's just difficult.
If they ironed out easily enough, then I would be okay. But you know, I'm real particular about my posters. I've got a Batgirl print at home that I'm going to have a discussion the next time I'm there, because I pulled it out to put on a show the last time I was there, and I was like, as I'm holding, I'm like, this hole was not in the paper before, and why is it the same size as the darts that are in the corner of the room? Yeah. So there's a younger version of me in the house that's going to have a discussion.
Yeah. Let's get to Rorschach on that one.
Oh yeah, give me your little finger.
He'd also figure that mystery out, and it would show him looking at the poster, close up of the hole, looks over, darts. He'd probably stick a dart through a piece of paper, compare the whole size. Not say anything though. Let the reader figure out.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, oh wait. So yeah, we'll wait till the interrogation scene where I'm like, okay, give me your little finger, young man. Now, who put the hole in my poster?
Yeah. Normally I tell you this hurts me more than it does you, but not in this case.
Yeah, not in this case at all. So 8 issues of Guano Guy, no signs of stopping yet. I mean, this is
Well, I don't think stopping. I think maybe next year I might do one because I'd really like to start doing another comic as well. Oh, yeah, I got another one.
We have, I was going to say, we have our shake and bake moment here. Sometimes it happens during the streams. I love the shake and bake moments.
It's shake and bake, and I help.
So
thank you who helped.
Whoever it was who helped, thank you. We appreciate you doing it during our stream. So 1616, we want to get you, by now this is a 5 figures young lady kind of project. So 23 days to go. Get this thing as high as possible.
But I have.
I'm sorry, I was interrupting your flow of talk about how far you're going to go.
Exciting stuff to get another pledge in there. Thank you for contributing, and hope you enjoy it. I've got these couple other comics that I've been germinating on for a while. I've generated a lot of ideas for, so I'd really like to get going on another one of them. It's probably going to be the horror fantasy one. I'm thinking that one's the more likely one because I did a lot of development on it and have a good idea where I want to go with it. It'd be only 4 issues. So that's another reason we want to get another series going, is one where I have a definitive goal.
Now, that's a departure from the humor kind of stuff. I don't know what else you've written outside the Guano Guy universe. So is that...
Yeah, I mean, published writing, Guano Guy is definitely the first. I had worked at a game company, so I did writing there where I was doing little bits of writing, like characters' backgrounds or rules for a game. I did some writing while editing a game project. Did a lot of writing for Image Grand Disaster.
Of course.
Did a lot of writing there with a variety of superheroes. But yeah, this would certainly be very different. I've touched on darker stuff before when I was in middle school, high school, and college, all that.
Oh, yeah. Well, we all did.
Sure.
That's when our emo genes are running at the highest.
Yeah. I mean, I took like gothic fiction one semester. I had gothic fiction, Shakespeare, and fiction technique all in the same semester. So it was very, very into writing and studied it for a long time. So I would be very excited to do this other comic because it's horror. It is also fantasy, but in a modern world. There's some detective work. It's definitely gray areas. So it would be a complete departure from this, where there would be almost zero humor at all. But that would be really cool, and just completely explore other stuff.
George Peter Gatsis is in the chat. He has backed the all digital catch-up option. And if you ever decide you want a 3D print of Guano Guy action figure, George Peter Gatsis is the guy to go to. He's doing these awesome spaceships and other characters and statuettes for crowd-funded folks.
Nice.
I'm one of these guys who sees patterns, Mark. I can't help it. I'm like that guy who's on MacGyver season 4. It's like, I see the patterns. They're all over the place. I see portentous future for this campaign based on the numbers that are here right now, because if you take that 1 off the front there of that dollar value, you're at 616, and you got there with backers of 52. Now, of course, 616 is the Marvel universe, and 52 is how many multiverses there are in DC.
It's funny, yeah.
So you're knocking on the door of the big 2 with this thing. You're going to crack through. This is my Madame Fortuna crystal ball kind of thing. I see Guano Guy making big mucho moolah.
Well, and just this is in no way this completely positive, but this making comics is definitely a labor of love kind of thing. Like I just love making them, and I love entertaining.
Yeah.
So all money that comes in actually goes to the artists that have done the pages.
Yeah, I mean, comics is a great making comics is a great little investment where you can take a couple of $1,000s and turn it into a loss of only a few hundred.
Yeah. Well, look at it. Other people, they own boats. I make a comic book. You go out and sit on the water. I sit alone in the dark at a computer, and
you can't take your books and throw them out in the water. Oh,
I could, but I feel it would be unproductive. It'd be harder to sell at conventions.
Have you ever seen a movie called Comic Book Villains?
No, I have not.
Oh, you should. It's got Donal Logue in it, who was Bullock from Gotham, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but he's been in a bunch of stuff too. And it's all about these two comic shops. One is like the comic cave, where it's like no girls allowed, and the lights are kind of half on, half off. And there's yesterday's Slurpee is still sitting on the counter by the cash register. And then there's the other one that's like run by the preppy married couple, which is like super neat and tidy. And a guy dies in town, and he's rumored to have this huge golden age collection of comics. And he does. And they're in a temperature controlled room. And I'm going to spoil a 25-year-old movie. Okay. It ends with them chasing each other, with one of them having all the comic books in the back of a pickup truck, and then getting chased into a lake. And you see, these perfectly reproduced covers of Action Comics and Detective and Timely stuff just sinking to the bottom of this lake. Like, oh God, no, they weren't slabbed either. It was like, they were just the books. That image just came to me when we were talking about boats and comics and throw them in the water. And
yeah, I don't know if slabbing, I don't think that makes it waterproof. I don't think you could throw it in your tub and
let's test it.
Yeah, no, somebody out there, you got one that you got slabbed that it really doesn't matter. Just go ahead and give it a try.
Yeah, if you find a spawn number 1, everybody's got 3. Just throw it in the water and see if it comes back. Oh, I can't possibly slab a comic. I want to read my comics.
Yeah.
So if they're slabbed, what they need to do. If your slab is like smart glass and you get like a chip of the comic in it, you can take the slab down and then start turning pages on the front of the actual. You're holding the actual book, but you're reading
the digital
version on the face of the.
Interesting. Would make it feel a little nicer.
Somebody crowdfund that. That's a free tech startup idea. You'll make $1 million in 15 years, and I'll be eating cat food from a can. I have such an optimistic view of the future for people who work in comics, don't I? How many times am I going to say tonight how poor we're all going to end up in our old age? I don't know. I guess I've just had one of those days that I didn't even realize I had.
Yeah. You maybe watched Mad Max too much, and you're going to get the dog food. You're cat food cans.
Dog food? Yeah, that's an upgrade. They get beef. I'm eating the tuna.
Yeah. Some of their stuff is human grade.
Yeah, it is. I feed the dog that's here these little bacon bits, and every time I take one out, I'm like, these actually look pretty good.
Yeah,
I like bacon.
Yeah,
I'd be, tempted to take a nibble on one. So it's going to be a while for Guano Guy number 5, or 4.5, or 3.14, however, because you're numbering these things all weird.
Yeah. 5 will probably be later this year. I'm thinking October.
But you're going to do the horror fantasy before that.
I don't know if it'll be 4 after, but I got to get my button gear on it. I was working on Image Grand Disaster for quite a while, and that was working on that over a year on different pieces of it. And the last few months were a lot of work getting the final version produced. But now time should free up a bit, although I started a new air traffic control job, so I'm concentrating quite a bit on that for a while.
Do that. Yeah, we don't want, we don't want Breaking Bad season 3. Mm-hmm. You get the reference.
Yeah.
What was that water cooler talk the next day after that episode aired?
I take my job very seriously, and I leave the rest of the world behind when I go to work.
Yeah, for that job you have to.
Yeah, that's part of how you have to be. You can't go in there and be angry about some other thing. You need to be able to compartmentalize and all other things go to the side.
Yeah, got all these little triangles on the screen. Don't let any of them hit. The world's it's like Ender's Game.
Oh yeah.
Where you're playing the video game and you're the only one who realizes those are real people. Don't let them crash. All right, this has been a very meandering sort of interview, but I think we got the main point across that Guano Guy is a fun superhero book with a lot of humor in it, some great art, and it's something that I definitely recommend people buy. I'm going to put it on my list. And this is how I do this, Mark, because I don't like Kickstarter.
Oh, yeah.
For one reason. If I back it today from PayPal, I forget. And then I check PayPal and I have money and I go to Indiegogo. I'm like, hey, I have money, back this. And then Indiegogo takes my money.
But they do it immediately. Right.
Yes. It's like I got, and then this is the first time this has happened. I backed a Kickstarter 3 weeks ago, a while back. And I did it the way I do it, where I'm like, okay, my money's gone. Today I get the survey, and I fill out the survey, and they're like, okay, you need to give us $5 for shipping. I'm like,
oh, yeah, some of them do that differently, right? And they'll say somewhere in there, like, you'll be charged shipping separately later. Yeah, I prefer to know up front.
And pay up front. But so this is how I do it. Hey, Siri. Remind me in 22 days to back Guano Guy. There we go. And that way, I back it just in time for Kickstarter to take it.
And Siri doesn't come back with, that sounds stupid.
I've had her get smart with me before. She gets a little sassy, but then she has to put up with a lot from me because I swear to God, she is always listening. And I've tested it. I've run experiments. Like we were driving past a mathnasium one time, and we were homeschooling our son, and I didn't say, hey, there's a mathnasium, or, hey, let's pull in the mathnasium, or even, hey, Siri, don't. Tell me more about the mathnasiums and how much they cost. I simply turned to my wife in the passenger seat. I said, we should take him there, pronoun, to get him some help with his math. And the next day, my Twitter app is like giving me all these promoted tweets for mathnasium in my area. I'm like, that's weird. So I've run other tests on this thing with my phone around. I'm like, don't search it on the keyboard. Don't just come up with a weird thing, like, gosh, I wonder what it's like to vacation in London this time of year. Said to nobody out loud in front of the phone without activating the phone, and I get them. It's so.
Wow.
Guano Guy versus the smartphone. That's have him do something about that.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have him. Actually, I'm gonna have him battle teddy bears before long.
Yeah, I've noticed that he's been doing kind of that. Well, no, he wasn't doing that. That was Mr. Marvelous Man was battling some teddy bears. They're kind of. Well, it's not a teddy bear, I guess. Did I not see him battling teddy bears in here already?
There was in issue 1, the prankster had teddy bears with him, but they didn't actually end up fighting them. So they've appeared with the prankster, but I think we're coming close to the time we need some more active teddy bears.
Okay, this was the image that stuck in my head.
Yeah, because the Guano Guy was battling the puppets.
Ah, okay.
So the puppets return.
So he takes care of all the real heavy hitters, puppets and teddy bears and.
Yeah, well, I mean, in the last issue, he fought a crime mime in issue 2, crime mime. Then he fought a crime choreographer.
Crime mime was okay. Crime mime was clever. Crime choreographer just sounds like I wanted to be the crime mime, but the name was taken.
Yeah, it did turn out to be the same guy coming back with another bad idea.
Very nice, very nice. Okay. Mark, I think I'm kind of dragging out here now. I'm losing the plot, and I'm going to close it off before I kill. You're going to start getting refund requests if I keep this up here. So we're going to kill the stream. Thank you for bringing Guano Guy on here. He is a fun character, and Siri will remind me in 21 days, 22 days to throw my money at it. And what the hell? I'll just get the whole set because that's what I do now. When I back these things.
Also, folks, check out Image Grand Disaster, Image Grand Design. There was a link thrown up earlier, but if you Google Image Grand Design, you'll get to it. And it's just donations to the Hero Initiative. We're not keeping anything for ourselves. And it's nearly 400 pages with both books. So huge, huge project, 80 creators, tons of amazing work. So while I love the Guano Guy, I cannot forget about this project. It's just so many contributions.
If you're watching this on the replay, the link will already be in the description below because as soon as I close out, I'm going to look it up and I'm going to edit the video and put it down there. So just click on the link below for to support the Hero Initiative with the Image Grand Design, especially if you loved Image in the 90s when it was, in its heyday. Not that it's, slacking off any. They're still publishing books. But
yeah,
it is different.
It's a great company doing a massive indie projects all over the place, which is awesome in a different way.
If you've been gone for a while, like if you were a Savage Dragon fan in 1995, ask around first.
It's a little different book now, yeah.
It's a different book. Folks in the chat, we do appreciate
fighting next. That's not fighting.
That's wrestling.
Well, think about it, bro. Both his hands are tied up. I mean, what else can he use?
Yeah, his dad would shoot people, and he fires off too. I have no idea how that went there. I just look at it and I miss Savage Dragon, and I keep going. More power to you, sir. Keep making books. I'm not one to judge with my collection of cherry Pop-Tart. So it just changed on me when I wasn't expecting it. That's all. Okay, everyone in the chat, thank you for being here. Definitely thank you for supporting this book. If you haven't supported it yet, please do so at your earliest convenience. The link is also down below in the description of this video. And as always, we hope you had a blast.